Zach.
What is going on today, guys? So today we are in the garage. It's actually somehow got really hot out in the last couple of days. So it's about 80 degrees outside, so we're not going to work on this thing just yet. But we're going to get a couple of things done this weekend because we are kind of in the final stages of preparing for Hot Rod Power Tour. So let's take a look at what we are going to get into. So we've got some fun stuff. I still have a leak in the rear end, which is awesome. So ordered a brand new diff cover. So we're going with a fin cover this time instead of that the multi-point reinforcement design. We're not making enough power, so it doesn't really matter. But fun little fact, I had taken this car actually down to Ohio for a little bit of a test drive. Went out to see some family, and she's doing one-legged peels. Yay! So all 488s, 86 and up are positive traction rear ends. So with that being said, we know the culprit right away. It is the clutch pack. So we're going to be upgrading to carbon clutch packs. So these are Ford Racing carbon clutch packs. So we're going to do a couple other things. So we're going to swap out the stock rear springs to these are 2-inch lowering springs from Touring Tech. Went ahead and grabbed also the energy suspension isolators for those, so that'll all be polyurethane. We're gonna obviously change out the rear end fluid. We've got some friction modifier as well. We're gonna rebuild the stock diff, as well as up front we get to take that apart as well, because we are going to be installing this thrust bearing kit. So here's my little gripe, because this is two vehicles now. So I've got front coilovers on this and front coilovers on that. Actually, I've got coilovers at all four corners on that thing. So the front coilovers on the truck are, I believe they're a Viking coilover. So they're from Classic Performance Industries. I'm sorry, Classic Performance Products, CPP. Up front, I don't know, it was like $1,700 The rears, which I did later on, is a full QA1 kit. So it's a full QA1 kit that swaps the rear end to coilovers. Man, it was a pain to install. To be honest, they were both a pain to install. But with that being said, a little gripe I have with this. Front kit with long arms, the whole nine, was about $1,800. They came with these thrust washers. So what you do is you put the spring on top, I'm sorry, you put these on whatever your perch is, then you put the spring on top and it allows it to rotate nicely. My $2,800 QA1 kit did not come with them. It didn't even say that it didn't come with them until I got it, and then I had to wait additional time to get them. Kind of a gripe I have with this, because it seems like coilover manufacturers coilover providers, I don't even know if they're manufacturing them, aren't doing it. My UPR kit didn't have them on there. To be fair, I bought it used, so I had to buy this UPR upgrade kit. So kind of annoying, but it is what it is. At the same point, I did lose one of my set screws, so I was able to get a couple of set screws from them as well. So we're gonna peel apart the whole front end of the car, get all of that fixed up on there, so basically everything rides nicely, it's able to rotate. And then I'm gonna actually level the car out. So what I'm gonna do here shortly is I'm gonna go around with a little measuring tape, and we're gonna measure out to see the four corners of how tall it is. So since I'm gonna be applying a 2-inch reduction spring in the back, we just want to take a look. So it looks like 27.5 there. Let's come around here, and this one's 24.5. Oh, sorry, 24.5. So we're going to do a little bit of measuring, because if we do 27.5 there, take 2 inches out, should be 25.5. I might raise the front of the car up so that everything's totally level. So, but I need the thrust washer kit to do that, so that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go run around and I'm going to measure everything, so we have a before and after of what the total ride height of the car is going to be, and then I'm going to also measure the ground clearance of the vehicle as well. Additionally, what we're going to do is, since I don't have my diff cover yet, it got delayed today, thank you, what we're going to do is we're going to prep the clutch discs. So there's an awesome video by everybody's favorite Chris Fix on this, just because all 88s 86 to 2014 are all the same in the inside. So that being said, this is a carbon clutch disc. I need to let these soak in friction modifier. He said at least 15 minutes. I'm gonna let it do overnight because it's not gonna get here until tomorrow anyways. So it's gonna be a little bit of a prep, and then we're gonna circle back tomorrow, and then we're gonna see exactly, we're gonna get everything all together, peel apart that rear end, and get started on it. So I'm gonna run around right now, get the before the before heights of everything, and then we're gonna prep the discs, and then we'll circle back after that. So getting a quick measurement real fast, it looks like on the rear we're pretty close. We're only about 1/8 of an inch off. In the front, we're about 3/4 of an inch off. So kind of a lot. So for the rear tire, just because I know I'm going to get this question. So these are a billet wheel, factory wheel, probably from like, I don't know, 99 to 04 Mustang. This is the 275/40/17. And then up front, same style wheels. This one's a little bashed, sorry about that. But you know what, it happens when they're free. So, and this tire is a little bit tinier intentionally, so I'm running a 245/40/17 up front to make sure that everything fits without rubbing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to prep the clutch discs, and then we'll circle back tomorrow. All right, guys, we are back for day 2 of working on the Fox body, and unfortunately Amazon struck out again for not being able to deliver my diff cover. So I had to reorder it because it's lost somewhere in the system. So I still have the clutch packs sitting in the fluid on there. It's not like it's going to make a big difference. If anything, it's just aiding the situation. But with that being said, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to install these rear lowering springs, as well as I'm going to do those front pesky thrust bearings. So I'm going to start to getting this car all torn apart, and then we'll circle back once I've got the front coilovers separated, so I can show you exactly what they do. And yeah, but damn rainforest, that's all I can say. Okay, so having everything all apart on there, went ahead and cleaned up some threads on here. This is what we're left with. So the UPR kits, if you're unaware, this is part of my coilover piece. So they've got 2 sets. So they've got this upper set right here, okay, that ends up being a thrush bearing, which I did have these already installed, so I'm just going to remove those and replace them, as well as this bottom set. So what you have is you've got 2 washers, you've got the thrust bearings. From what I can tell, the thrust bearings go down on the bottom side right there. Allows you to rotate this up and down. This collar pivots already, so you don't need them at the top, at least again, from what I can tell. So I'm gonna go ahead and lubricate these up with some anti-seize and then put it all back together and do the other side. But thankfully this one's an easy job since I already have everything all apart.
Walk out the door, you see someone that you know and they ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Okay, so fun stuff. So this thrust kit did not fit on this. I just always assumed that this was a UPR set. I'm not entirely sure. The thrust bearing I did get from UPR, so I had to actually go, and if you can take a look at that, I had to go in and grind this down and then take basically a flap disc to the inside edges of all of these bearings. Now finally, I mean, there's still a little bit of a hairline, as you can see, but I'm pretty confident that even if it sits all the way down, it's not going to be a big deal. And now we've got a thrust bearing. So all I'm going to do on this is take a little bit of anti-seize, take this top piece off right like that, and just lightly coat this right here, and then I'll spin it a couple of times, and then it should be all good to go. But this is going to be an absolute pain on the other side too. So right like that right there, and then now we've got a nice little thrust bearing sandwich. So additionally, I went out and grabbed some new springs. I was able to actually find them on Marketplace, so I was able to run out same day and get them. So originally, here is the black springs what I had. As you can see, quite a different design. So these are 14 by 175, and these ones right here are 12 by 170. So the 12 by 170 is like a drag race spring. This is not. So this should be a lot better of a spring, a lot more comfortable. UPR says that these are the most comfortable street, I think it said street drag spring that you can get. So I'm gonna go ahead and slam these on. These are a hyper coil, so we'll slam these on and go from there. So it should, overall, it should work pretty well, but just need to put it all back together now. So right now I am machining down basically this piece as well as the inner diameter right here, so that this slides on like this, because it is, I did mic it, it's within 1 millimeter to be able to make this fit, so that's just not enough, unfortunately. So I'm just putting this on and then it'll be good to go. So I'm going to show you how, slinging some sparks about how I'm going to make this one fit right here, and let's get to it. And that one fits, but I'll probably need to, maybe I'll just flip them around, but let's see. Probably need a little bit more on that one, but this top one's rotating just fine. Oh, sorry. Top one's rotating just fine like that right there. So yeah, we're pretty much almost done. So now I just need to carefully work on the thrust bearing, and hopefully we'll have this all together, and then we can go ahead and slam it in. Okay, well, I went ahead and got this all machined down. It's all good to go. I did have to already put some anti-sneeze on there, just because I went so close that the cage for the roller bearings actually did pop open a little bit. But now that the anti-seize is in there, once we've got the spring in there, it'll all be good to go. It shouldn't be a big deal. So I'm going to get it all put back together, and then we're going to keep moving. Okay, so now that we've got the front end of the car done, we have it dialed in plus or minus ¼ inch, but 25.5 inches for both the driver and the passenger. Now we get to work on the rear. So I do have everything kind of more or less set up over here. We got our 2-inch lowering springs to the rear, energy suspension isolators. So these are just going to go on the top and the bottom, just like that right there. On there, I've done enough of these that I know these are the right ones on there, but first we'll hit them up with that super lube. And it's all gonna work out. So now I gotta drop out the rears, the stock ones out of this, and then we're gonna get a measurement all the way around at all four corners. Let's get it. Well, there's the money shot right there. That is within half an inch front and rear. So those rear springs, funny enough, I started on the fronts thinking, I was like, oh, this will be the easy one. The fronts were a huge pain because we had to Dremel out everything and do all that stuff. The rears popped right in. I mean, these things were the hardest part was getting the pry bar in to pop these out. And then the new ones just literally fell right in and it was good to go and it was no big deal whatsoever. But I digress. Oh well, you know what? You live and you learn. So we got all this done. The only thing I'm waiting for is tomorrow, hopefully for that diff cover to show up. And a couple of small little things, but honestly, that's going to be it for tonight. And let's get back at it tomorrow. Okay guys, we are back. So thankfully, our cover finally showed up. This one's a cool Fender one. It's all machined. We went ahead and grabbed a gasket. We got all the rest of our stuff. All right, let's rip that rear end apart and get this all put together. Okay, so we went ahead and got these all out on there, and there's a great video from Chris Fix on there. So fun fact, I originally when I was rebuilding the rear end, I was wondering what happened. I had these like two little tabs, and I'm thinking that that's what these were, is that they broke off this original clutch disc. So kind of crazy stuff really at the end of the day for that. But yeah, so I mean now we can just peel it all apart and we'll be good to go. So basically we've got a good diagram right here for everything. I'm just going to make sure that I've got this pretty much all nice and clean as much as I can. I've been letting all of the clutch packs soak in oil per Ford's instruction on there, and overall this is pretty decent. There's a little bit of nicks on the surface again. I think it's because that's where those tabs broke originally, but surprisingly the tabs aren't horrible on this. I should say everything's not terrible, but with that being said, kind of doesn't surprise me that that is the case. So what you end up doing is you end up grabbing your clutch disc packs. So we're going to end up opening this up, and this smells absolutely terrible, as a surprise to no one. But let's get this open now. So we've been letting these sit for a couple of days. So what you end up doing is with the fresh pinion right there, you grab one of these, slide it on. You grab one of these, slide it on. Grab two of these. 1, 2. Slide it on, slide on another one of these. Then one of these. Finally, one last of these and our little retainers. So it's pretty much it. And then you should have 3 of each. And then I'll probably go slide this one in real quick so it's all good to go, and then we'll get everything all put back together. Okay, so now that we got the clutch packs all reinstalled, funny enough, we were able to diagnose way back when. I had wondered where these two tabs came from because I found them up near my pinion when I changed this pinion seal, and now we know they broke off on one of these clutch discs. And all of these clutch discs are absolute junk, so that is cool. So now we're just going to hit this up with some RTV. I'm also going to put a gasket, so I'm going to do the dual gasket thing to make it all work out, but I think we'll be in good shape. So should be just like that right there, and we'll hit it up with a nice thick bead of right stuff, and then we'll write stuff again on the axle side. Well guys, so we got everything back on the ground now. Again, I think that this is absolutely crazy stuff right here, that it sheared off these two tabs right there. I found these originally when I changed the pinion gasket on this. I was like, what are these? Nobody online seemed to figure it out. Looks like they actually were just rattling around inside and got all beat up. So we've got everything all said and done. Let's see. Oh, no. Yeah, probably no light for that, but it is what it is. So we're going to take this for a test drive, see how she rides, and hopefully significantly better. But we'll find out. Well, this thing handles like an absolute dream now. It's super smooth and crisp over bumps. You're not getting any of that jarring front end, just harshness that you did with the drag springs. So overall, I would say this is a huge win. I enjoy it a lot more, that's for sure. So I'm gonna test it over the next couple days, see if there's any adjustments that need to be made. We're getting a touch of rub in the rear just because of the offset of the tires. But beyond that, it's all pretty good. So we'll put some miles on it, and then we'll be ready for our first burnout with the new rear clutch discs. So we ran into one last thing when it comes to there we go, a little bit darker. So we ran into one more thing when it comes to the Fox body. So we just put on those lowering springs, and overall it handles so much better. But we were running into some issues. Let's see if you can see it right there. We're getting some unfortunately a little bit of rubbing. So thankfully they make a tool for that. So introducing the Fender roller. So this is just a unit from, oops, sorry about that. So this is just a unit from Amazon. Pretty simple and straightforward. Just goes on your wheel hub and rolls your inner fender. So I'm getting set up and I'm gonna record doing the passenger side. I wanna do the driver's side just to make sure I fully understood the situation. But if you can take a look right here, that is what a rolled fender looks like. And if I put this right here, you can kind of see right here, I can basically get my hand pretty much all the way in there. No issues whatsoever. Very simple, straightforward. Basically, it just rolls the fender inwards. You can kind of see if I can put it right there. This is where the unrolled fender is, and then it makes the transition into the nice rolled fender. So that'll allow, when this axle goes up, it's gonna go ahead and not contact the inner fender. So let me show you real quick what an unrolled fender looks like on a Fox body Mustang. So here's what we were looking at for an unrolled fender. As you can see right here, it comes out, whoops, sorry, comes out, and then it just flat, and then it ends. So we get to really take a lot of material, and we're gonna just roll it up. So pretty straightforward how you do this. I saw a dude, I think it's 417 Fox on YouTube, is also doing this. Basically, you go ahead and set up the fender roller, and then you use 2 jacks. You got 1 jack on the body, 1 jack on the axle. The jack on the axle is what you utilize to actually apply pressure up to the fender, rather than trying to rely on kind of the chintzy design of the roller itself to apply all the pressure. Makes it really easy, pretty straightforward, and I'll show you how it's done. Additionally, I did also heat up the paint as I was going with a heat gun. Basically just, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes of heat initially, start rolling, and then pretty straightforward and simple. So I do have an angle gauge, so we'll go ahead and use that, as well as I do have a temp gauge, so I can kind of show you at least a little bit of how I was doing it, and then maybe you can take a hint from there or go from there. We'll see. So let's get started. I'm gonna get this wheel off, get a quad shock changed, and then I'll show you exactly how to go about it. Okay, so now we have everything prepped and ready to go. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and attach to the hub of our wheel right there. We're gonna attach the fender roller, and then I'll show you the next step. Pretty straightforward and easy. So I have this still set up from the last wheel that we did on the other side. It's pretty easy to put this in. Now it does come with a handful of conical spacers that you do need to use just so you can reuse your lug nuts. As you can see, there is a cone on the inside right there, and then a flat on the back. So the flat goes against this, and then you reuse your lugs. I put 4 on there. It's definitely overkill. You definitely do not need that many at all, but it is what it is, so it's not a big deal. Get this all started right like this, and then we'll be in good shape. Okay, so now, like I was mentioning, so we don't really want to use this as the piece, and we definitely don't want to start with this aggressive of an angle. So I'm just going to pop this free right here. It does somewhat help to have a wrench. I want to say a 17 millimeter could work on this to loosen it up. There we go. Just like that right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to not start at a crazy aggressive angle. We pretty much want to be flat, just like this. So you're going to use this bar right down here if it wants to cooperate. You want to use this bar to set your tilt, so to speak. Okay, so, you know. Or is it going to fight me? Probably going to fight me. Not really a big deal. Anyways, you want to set this one to set your tilt, and then you're going to set your height actually directly with the jack, so that when you're going through, when you start to rotate this, it's all going to work out properly. So there we go. Just need to loosen this up, just like this. Because as this goes in, the roller wheel comes out, and as you can see right here, basically kind of coming right in. And then I find it easy to have the jack right here on the left, so that you can kind of get all of this kind of in a nice, easy way right there. And then I'm just gonna go kind of right for the middle, so right about that. So if I were to jack up right now, I could start rolling just like this and then be in good shape. But we're gonna do for the first part, okay, just roll that out of the way. We're gonna take a heat gun, all right, and we're gonna actually heat up against the fender right here. We're doing this so that it doesn't totally destroy the paint. Now, this car is a pre-warning. This car has been repainted, and it was not painted well. You can kind of see there's some scratches and stuff pretty much all around the car. So on the other side, even though I did heat it up pretty well, it did still break a bit of the paint. Unfortunately, that's what we're going to have to deal with, because I don't want the tires to be catching on the repair of the fenders, and it is what it is. There was something said also about cleaning the inside. As you can kind of see, there's a little bit of dirt right here. This car is fairly clean. I'm not super concerned about it. I don't think it's going to be trapping any dirt. But what we're going to do lastly is I'm going to use an angle finder gauge right here, and we're going to show exactly what it is right here. Let's make sure that we've got this all working. So we are showing, if I can kind of get this to pop in right there. Okay, so we are showing a 13.2 degree angle that we're going to start out with. And let's show how that progresses as we start to use the roller after we heat up the paint. So I'm going to at least get this up. So I also have a temp gauge right here just to make it easier on myself. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take a look at the metal. Right here it is saying 62 degrees. If I can get that to focus. So 62 Fahrenheit. So again, we're going to heat this up and then we're going to start going. So I'm going to hit this up just high heat for a couple of minutes. With this, go slow, take multiple temperature readings, and you should be in good shape. Thankfully, it's not a big deal. Okay, so we're at about going on the metal right here on the edge. We're getting about 100 degrees in some areas. Yep, going up a little bit warmer for sure. So we should be in good shape. And again, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to double check real quick. So our angle finder, at least on this initial one, if I try to go here, is, yeah, if we go to a little bit of an angle, kind of like this right here. So if we go fully like this, we're at 22 degrees, okay? So that's what, from this, basically from center, 22 degrees facing downwards. So now we're gonna take our roller. It is kind of important too when you go through this to make sure that the roller stays nice and clean. So now we're just gonna jack up just a little bit to the point where we get a little bit of contact like this. And then we're gonna start working it back and forth. This does, it does give you a little bit of arm pressure, that's for sure, but it's not horrible, so definitely just something to keep an eye on. Shouldn't really have to be shouldn't really have to be adjusting that piece right there, pretty much at all. So now I'm just gonna back it up a little bit so you guys can see the whole process. Me going back and forth with it. And basically I'm just pulling it so it stays fully out. It should be pretty straightforward from that perspective. And then once you feel that it's starting to roll, you go up maybe a little bit of a jack pump and just keep rolling and taking your time. And then if you run into a rough spot like what I was running in right there, you just back it off and then you try to roll it a little bit just to get exactly the angle that you're looking for. So now that we've done our first pass, let's take a look. And as you can see, we went from like 20 degrees or so already to 1 point. Oh, sorry. Let me get this zoomed in right here. So we went from 20 degrees to about, what's that saying? If I keep it flat, we're already starting to roll in, but at a minimum now we're 7 degrees negative. Oh, what's that say? 2.3? It keeps changing on me. 4.5 negative now. So that's, we went from about, yeah, right about there. Sorry, kind of working two things at the same time. Went right about there to all the way like this with just a couple of quick passes. But we are going to take this lip. If I zip all the way back out, we're going to take this lip and we're going to fold it in because we want to make sure that we're not going to be hitting our tires at all. So what this is a good time now to do is, again, to stop, go ahead and hit it up with your heat gun and get it nice and hot again. Then we're going to start to adjust the angle on the roller so that it starts to bring it into a more aggressive angle. It's pretty straightforward and simple, just takes some time. Yep, nice and warm. So we're going to take the jack angle out of it for right now. Wipe off, like I said, just make sure it's clean. And then we're going to go at a bit more of an aggressive angle. I'm going to go at about here. what was that? I was reading a professional or watching a professional say, he said about 20 degrees is all you want to do at a time. That way you're not breaking the paint and not running into any issues. So again, we'll start to, let's put a little bit more of an aggressive angle on this now. Let's see. There we go. And then again, just jack up right on the axle. Okay, like I said, just keep cleaning off that wheel. If you're getting stuff on there, don't want to be running it into your paint. And now we're going to go even in a more aggressive angle. Basically just keep doing this until you achieve the angle you are looking for. Okay, and now we're going to do one more angle find. And as you can see, so this is the lip. We are negative 45 degrees, give or take. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. Right there. Oh, come on. Yeah, as you can see, I mean, that is a far cry from right here, where we were before. It's all the way lipped up right there, and then I've got this one pretty much flat directly against it, so it's kind of exactly what I was looking for this. So overall, what we're going to do is we'll put the tire back on, we can check the fit of it, and go from there. But these tire rollers are cheap. I want to say I spent 45 bucks on this one, and I mean, it worked perfectly for me rolling these back fenders, so probably worked perfect for your application too. But again, I like this setup that I had seen from somebody online. Just use 2 jacks. It's a lot easier. You got a jack on the body, jack on the axle. I do have a jack on the other side as well to prop the tire up, or just throw it on a jack stand so that you can go ahead and rotate it and make everything nice and easy. I as well did pop off the caliper to make my life even easier at that point, but overall, yeah, everything is, the fit is absolutely awesome. So, let's take a look at everything all wrapped up back together. Okay, so now simulating off the ground how tight we can go. As you can see, now we're in really, really good shape. We have absolutely nothing to worry about. Even if we were to push down on this a little bit, which is kind of hard to begin with, we've got absolutely no real rubbing potential unless I was to hit something super hard, and then it's still going to hit the flat. It's no longer going to be cutting into the face of the tire. So that is the long and short of it. At the same point of rolling your fenders, we're able to do on the Fox body, and I'm gonna finally drive it again and make sure that there's no other issues, and if it is, I'll go back in, roll them a little bit more, make it nice and simple. But overall, great investment for the tool. I'd recommend it. And then you need, what, a heat gun as well. The heat guns I got at Harbor Freight for 10 bucks. Pretty cheap, so you can do this for less than $60 and not cut up your tires. So finally, we're all wrapped on this project and should be good to go, and I think the only thing that's left to do is drive the car. All right, we will catch you guys in the next one though. And thanks for joining us. Like, comment, subscribe. A lot of you guys aren't subscribed. It'd be cool if you did. If not, thanks for joining us anyways.